Come on in, Fred Barnes. There he is, Weekly Standard Executive Editor. All right, you heard what I just had to say. A pivotal moment in history right now, and a parallel with back in the 80s with Thatcher and Reagan. What say you?
I'd say you nailed it. I think it's absolutely true. You look, I mean, the elites are accused, I think correctly, of serving themselves, but not only themselves, but also serving others in other countries. You know, making it easy for others to come into England, to come into the United States, immigrants. That's part of it. And people are in a revolt against that. And what is the response of the elite, the establishment, and the mainstream media as well? The response is fear tactics. We've certainly seen them in England, the fear tactics and what would happen if England does leave the European Union. Here, what has been the response after the Orlando massacre to Trump's statement that he would like to see even more people blocked at the border if they're trying to come in, and that is if they're from countries that have spawned terrorism in the past. And so what's the response? Obama, the president, says, oh, that would make America less safe. Now, that's ridiculous, and others in the media have said, oh, actually, when Trump says that stuff, that actually stirs more terrorism. Well, there's no evidence for that, so the elites are rattled.
Yeah, they're rattled, and I don't think this populist feeling is going away. Regardless of the vote in Britain next week, and maybe even regardless of the November election here, this sentiment, this wellspring of anti-elite feeling, I don't think it's going away. I think it's with us for a long time to come. And I think it will affect us for a long time to come. What say you?
No, I think that's true. And look, those who are opposing government leaders in both parties and so on, they've already won the argument on immigration. And I think the courts are going to stop Obama doing what he's done to legalize something like 4 or 5 million illegal immigrants in the country. And I mean, the country, a majority in the country is opposed to any illegal immigration and a lot of legal immigration as well, because so many people now, without jobs, without getting wage increases or so on, they'll blame immigrants and these trade treaties for actually hurting them. The elites may love them, but the people don't.
Look, I'll make a comment on the British vote on whether they leave or not. I'm flat out in favor of it. I want Britain to leave because I don't think Europe can be reformed. It's democratic socialism, and I think that's what you've got for generations to come. You can't reform it. I want out of it. I want sovereignty for the British. I want them to rule themselves, and I want them to control who comes in and who goes out of the country. I'm firmly in favor of an exit. What say you?
Well, look, I don't see how England ever got itself in this position. The U.S. would never get in a position where we totally couldn't control our borders. They're leaky, but there's some control. And Donald Trump says, look, if you can't control your borders, you don't have a country.
I say this to a lot of our guests. You and I, Fred, are about the same vintage. And neither of us has ever seen anything like this before. 10 seconds to answer that.
Well, you mentioned the parallel with Thatcher and Reagan. This is bigger. This is a more bottom-up revolt than even occurred 35 years ago.
Fascinating. Fred Barnes, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate you being here.